If something happened with TAC response or if there was a falling out, we were completely f***ed. And I had an example of that. I actually had a falling out with James for a little while. When I moved here, Yeager said, hey, I want to be the only one that sells SOE. And I said, okay. And he said, I want every product that you make. And we, for 2 years, we put all of our gear in the gear shop at Tactical Response. And James is like, I want everything in every color. I'm like, James, we've never made dagger or mugger pouches in black. They're military GPSs. Most people don't have them. Civilians don't use them. It's a shitty GPS. And he wanted them. So I'm like, okay. So we put 3 of everything in the shop. And when it sold out, we immediately re-uploaded it every week. And then when it sold out, and we'd go from 3, and then we put 6, and then we put 12. And if that sold out, we'd put 24. And you know what never sold? The black mugger and dagger pouches. But we did that forever. And then it got to a point where all of my customers were James's customers. So after that, we started I was so invested into TAC response. That was my consolidated debtor, right? If something happened with TAC response or if there was a falling out, we were completely f***ed. And I had an example of that. I actually had a falling out with James for a little while, and we turned all of our shit back on. And what we found was all of my customers, because we were here in Camden and I was using James's forum, everything was TAC response. So we went out and started using social media. This was when Facebook was kind of new and starting out. And I said, James and I would come together for breakfast every morning. I'm like, James, you need to get on Facebook. He's like, I'm busy with YouTube. He's like, you need to get on Facebook. And finally he did. But I had 300,000 at that time, and James never broke 100,000 on Facebook. Fast forward a couple years, James is like, you need to get on YouTube. You need to get on YouTube. I'm like, James, all you do is YouTube. You're like, what the fuck do you mean? I go, when's the last time you taught a class? You haven't physically taught a tactical response class in 3 years. All you do is YouTube. And then YouTube killed his shit. And he had to start his channel all over. He started, people probably don't realize, James was making legitimate money off of YouTube in the early days. And they canceled his whole channel. Here's how you know it's bullshit. YouTube will kill your channel and take away all your shit, but let you start a brand new channel on their platform and build it over again. And a lot of it was because of ad revenue and money. You were making, legitimately making fucking a living off YouTube. And then when you start your new channel, it's under new guidelines. And then he's had to do that several times. James was had millions of followers on YouTube and was I don't know what the revenue was, but I guarantee you he was making a lot of money every fucking month, enough so that he didn't have to do other shit. And he could take that money and put it into TAC response and such. So fast forward a couple years down the road, I said, man, we need to step out and bring in new customers for SOE because I'm so concentrated and we're all contending, especially as time went on.
It was very incestuous.
I said, well, the deal is if your average student is probably a 30-year-old male. I don't know what the actual average is, but let's say it's a 30-year-old male. He's probably got 2.5 kids. He's got a house that he's making a payment on. There's probably 2 cars in the driveway. Getting away from work is a big deal. So to come out to TAC response and train, that's a $500 class. You need $1,000 in guns, probably gear. $1,000, $500 in ammo. You have to travel, hotel. It is a commitment to come take a class, right? I want that. If that dude has a $2,000 budget, I want all $2,000. James wants all $2,000. The ammo company wants all $2,000. And we're all in the same pond, and our fish are so fucking small, and they're inbred. We have to bring in new bloodline. So when I bought the Tacoma, that's why when we got the Toyota, we went to Overland Expo and we talked to a bunch of people. Yep. Every dude with a truck who's going to use any kind of gear also owns a gun. Most gun owners don't train. So how do we bring in new blood and convert those to tactical response students? And we did a good job doing it. James was always, I'm like, James, man, hey, you should throw this dude a class. This is a whole new audience. James never said no.
Yep.
Never once did James ever say no to anything, even if it didn't. I think even if James didn't think it was going to benefit him, but it benefited us. Or I watched James help a lot of fucking people where he got nothing back from it, and he was very good at that. There was not a consumable to a class. James hosted. A lot of people don't know. There's a lot of gun tubers out there that really got their start because of James. James had 40 gun YouTube channel guys come into town and fucking put them up at his place and everything, and did just whole training fucking week for those guys so that they could build footage and content. And a lot of them, I saw motherfuckers that used footage and never even gave James prop for it. They didn't even mention TAC response. And some of those dudes are still around right now.